Tonight on Sports Paws, all winter sports were in action, including acrobatics and tumbling team for the first time in almost 2 years.
Plus, we will have a special appearance from beat reporter Gage Kilborn to discuss all things women's ice hockey.
All this and more on the other side of this intro.
Now, I'm Ben Kane, that's Connor Core, and this is Sports Paws. We have a jam-packed show, so let's get right into it.
We start off tonight's show in the Frank Perotti Jr. Arena, where the men's ice hockey team took on Union. Let's roll a highlight. Quinnipiac men's ice hockey team back in action Friday night, still riding off of high of last weekend's Connecticut ice win as they welcomed the Union Dutchman in Hamden. Yaniv Pretz right here behind his own goal makes a costly mistake and puts Union up 1-0 in the first period. Into the second period now, it's going to be Quinnipiac captain Wyatt Bongiovanni evening the score up with this powerful one-timer. You'll see it off the screen and fires into the net. That'll tie it up 1-1. Still in the second, blink, and you just might miss it. Ethan Lay redirects Zach Metz's shot, and it'll take the Bobcats 2-1 heading into the final frame of this game on Friday night. Third period, it was dominated by who other than goaltender Yaniv Pretz. First, it'll be Pretz going from east to west and making the save, and then just a few minutes later, in the final minutes of play, the Dutchman will have the goalie pulled, and it'll be scrambled and ensues. Yaniv will make the save, and the puck will stay out in this game. Final chance for Union, but Metza blocks the final shot, putting his body on the line, securing the W 2-1 for Quinnipiac.
The Bobcats had less than 24 hours to refocus and get ready for their next matchup against RPI. Let's see how they did. The Bobcats came out on top once again. Not only was it their 5th win in a row, but it was also their 5th shutout of the new year. It was a quiet day on the ice for newly crowned goalkeeper of the week, Yaniv Pretz, who was only called on 16 times to make a save. However, Ethan Lay came out the hero for the Bobcats as the junior forward registered his 3rd goal of the year. This would also be just the 2nd time in Lay's career that he scored in consecutive games for the Bobcats. Saturday's game also marked head coach Rand Pecknell's 1,000th career game as a coach. Ethan Logue has the story on this monumental achievement.
The number 1,000. That number had special significance tonight, as when the Quinnipiac men's ice hockey team dropped the puck against the RPI Engineers, it marked the 1,000th game that Rand Pecknell roamed the benches as Quinnipiac head coach, becoming just the 19th coach in Division I hockey history to reach that historic milestone.
It's an interesting milestone to hit because you're excited about it, but it also makes you feel a little bit old. But I'm excited that I can get to that point. Just want to thank my wife Nikki and my kids for supporting me through it, especially Nikki with giving up her career on Wall Street and raising our children and supporting my career, and certainly all the staff and players that I've had in the 28 years. I've been really fortunate to have a great group here, the support of the administration, etc.
Pecknell's impact as a coach not only extends to his players, but to the program as a whole.
What an accomplishment for Coach. He's done so many great things for this program. Built this program from the ground.
It really taught me how to play hockey the right way. So amazing accomplishment playing coaching 1,000 games. That's crazy in itself, and it just goes to show you how few people have done it. So he's done a lot for not only me, but this program as a whole.
Pecknell will now turn his attention to game number 1001 as the Bobcats are set to play host to the Brown Bears on Tuesday night. Reporting from the Frank Perotti Jr. Arena, I'm Ethan Logue, Q30 Sports.
Not only was this a big weekend for Pecknold, it was also a big weekend for standout goalkeeper Yaniv Pretz, who earned an individual award. Pretz has earned his 3rd straight MAC Goaltender of the Month award. This comes after his 10th shutout in the blue, white, and gold. Pretz only conceded 3 goals this month and finished January with a 4-1-0 record. His 3 shutouts helped him surpass the single-season record at Quinnipiac and helped him and his fellow Bobcats tie the NCAA Division I record of 12 shutouts in one season.
Quinnipiac will continue its ECAC hockey play tomorrow night at the People's United Center as it faces off against the Brown Bears. The Bobcats got the best of the Bears the first time around as they won 1-0. They will also have played well historically when facing the Bears, with a record of 26, 10, and 7. The game will be broadcasted tomorrow night at 7 p.m. on ESPN+. With the men's team going 2-0 after the weekend, we will now look at the most up-to-date U.S. CHO polls. For the third straight week, the Bobcats are holding on to the number 2 spot in the U.S. CHO poll. Quinnipiac received 919 votes this week and 12 first-place votes, right above the number 1 ranked Minnesota State Mavericks, who kept its position atop the polls with 971 votes and 30 first-place votes.
Let's now take a trip across the locker room to see how the women's ice hockey team this weekend. First off was Clarkson, so let's get right into the action. Now Logan Andrews and the Bobcats are back, and they're at Clarkson in Potsdam getting ready for this game. So we're going to take you right to the first period. Andrews and the squad getting prepped. Here comes the first period action. We're on the power play. Taylor House gets found open for an easy goal. She makes it 1-0. QU go up. House celebrating with her team. She knows that's a big goal. We're going to the first period again. Brooke Ludwig puts a shot on Andrews. However, she was there to make the save with some help from Lexia Gia. And Quinnipiac are going to hold this lead heading into the third period. Now we're in that third period. Still the same score, but not for long. Jenna Goodwin found herself in the slot to tie the game at 1. This is going to be the end of regulation, so you know what that means, everyone. We're going to overtime. Courtney Voster looking to be the hero as her slap shot slips through the 5-hole of the goalkeeper. And Quinnipiac win this game 2-1 in Potsdam.
After the women's team played in upstate New York, the team traveled 20 minutes west on Route 11 to go head-to-head against St. Lawrence on Saturday and Sunday. In the first game on Saturday, the Bobcats would fall 2-1 against the Saints in an action-packed sequence. Cass Turner's side totaled under 10 shots each period, with a total of 22 in the entire game. This team has been averaging a little over 33 shots per game. This game and the second game, which we'll get to soon, has major implications to getting a bye to ECAC quarterfinals just 3 weeks away from now, with 5 games less in the regular season.
Now the Bobcats stayed in Canton looking for revenge and played the second game of their doubleheader less than a day later. The Bobcats lost for the second time this weekend by a score of 5-1. Not only was the defense unable to get going, but so too was the offense. Quinnipiac only registered 27 shots, which is over 6 shots less than their season's average. On a more positive note, Olivia Mobley scored her 12th goal of the season, tightening the race to 30 points for the Bobcats this year. The race between Olivia Mobley, Lexia Gia, and Sadie Pert now gets closer, with 2 points separating first from third.
Inside the studio, we have Gage Kilborn, a women's hockey beat reporter. Gage, what do you think is the biggest area of concern for this women's ice hockey team?
Hey Connor, the biggest area of concern right now for the women's ice hockey team has to be their offense. Their offense has not been producing at a high level that we've seen earlier on in the season. And when their offense is striking hot, they are winning games. As you saw back in the beginning of the season, they went 15-1-1 in the first half, which was their program best. And then they ended up they've been slumping as of late, only winning 4 games this year in total. And the big reason why this weekend especially can tell you, they've been under averaging their shots on goal this past weekend. And I think that's one thing they got to work on going forward this upcoming weekend.
So Gage, in your perspective, how did the team performance last weekend on a 3-game road trip?
I would give it a big thumbs down for this past weekend because overall they went 1-2, which the 2 losses they had were against an unranked team in St. Lawrence. And the one win they had was against Clarkson in overtime, so they did not get a full 3 points in the standings. They only got 2 points in the conference standings, which really ruins them going forward.
Now, Gage, you've seen this team. You know them pretty well. What do you think the Bobcats can do to improve their performance for the last 5 games of the regular season?
I think the big thing they have to do to perform over their next 5 games to the end of the season, is they have to focus on the defense as well. Their defense has been slacking a little bit behind as they've been giving up easy goals and they've been relying too much on their goaltenders. And that was a big loss that they had going forward. And I think they have to be really focused on having a strong defense and prevent any shots from getting past the defenseman going forward.
Thanks, Gage. And sticking with the women's team, the UACHO poll came out today. Let's see where the Bobcats landed. After a tough weekend on the ice, the Bobcats have fallen to 9th in the polls, right behind Clarkson, who weren't even in the rankings last week. The top two remain unchanged, with Minnesota holding the number 1 spot alongside Ohio State. Northeastern had a drastic fall to 5th after being ranked 3rd in last week's polls.
Still to come on Sports Paws, we shift over to Lender Court, where men and women's basketball had to hold a host of games since our last show last week. Some Bobcats also took home some awards this weekend. See who was crowned Player and Rookie of the Week. All that and up more coming. Stick with us.
Maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made home ownership happen. Homeschooling yourself on loans, beefing up your credit score.
So I'm pre-approved.
You were like, yes! Sorry. Color coding listings, ticking boxes, and flushing every toilet in a 20-mile radius. Home sweet home. You aced house hunting. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
I know what you're thinking. I need a job. I need a new career.
Well, I've been there.
I've been there.
I've been there. I wasn't happy with what I was doing.
After high school, I didn't have a plan.
I just wanted to start working. I got laid off twice, but you gotta keep going.
You just need the right skills. Find an apprenticeship.
I found a 2-year IT program.
I found a medical course online.
I'm now a consultant in the tech space.
You have more options than you think. You can do this.
You will find something.
You will find something new.
When we adopt a shelter pet, we discover they're a unique mix of all kinds of things.
Come on, Drew, spot me on this last one. There it is.
Keep going with it. Leo! They're a little bit of a lot of things, but they're all pure love.
Multiple studies have shown that marijuana can slow both driver reaction and response time, which can be really dangerous. He's here. He's here. Wait. What? I can't drive. What? My. Oh.
Welcome back to Sports Paws. I'm Connor Core. Thank you for sticking with us. On Thursday, head coach Trish Fabry's squad took on Marist Red Fox inside the People's United Center. We will not keep you waiting any longer. Let's roll that highlight. The Bobcats are back at home and pumped and looking to extend their 4-game winning streak against the Marist Red Foxes. We will pick up when the game is tied 41 apiece, under 30 seconds to go in the third. We go into the third quarter. Rose Caverly with the possession, dribbling through the Marist defense, but eventually will find McKillers right there, and she will put the ball in the net. Bobcats lead 43-41. Into the fourth quarter, moments in, game tied back up at 45 apiece. Morris will make the free throw right here. Now will start a 12-0 run by the Bobcats, to Jada Bonner getting a layup right there. And then Rose Caverly will hit a mid-range jumper. Amani Free hitting both of those, and she'll get a piece of the action right there with a 2-point layup. Tough finish over the Red Foxes. They will take a timeout there, and then it's back to Morris, taking a rip through one dribble, and she will hit the mid-range floater right there. And then, last but not least, we have Rose Caverly hitting Mackenzie Helms in the corner, and that, bang! Bobcats will win this game 61-50 in favor of the Bobcats. After defeating Marist, the women's team traveled to New Jersey to take on Monmouth. Here we go. The women's basketball team could not keep their 5-game winning streak alive, as they would go on to lose 64-55 against the Hawks. Michaela Morris led the team with 16 points and 14 rebounds. Amani Free added with 11. First-year guard Jackie Grisdale continues to set new career highs, this time in rebounds with 7, in her first career start as the Hawks would hold the Bobcats scoreless in the final 2 minutes and 49 seconds to seal the win by a 9-point victory margin.
The Bobcats return to Lender Courts today against Canisius, looking for some redemption after this tough loss. See how they fared. It's QU versus Canisius. Here we go. We're going to the first period. Michaela Morris and the Bobcats matching up against the Golden Griffins for the second time, and it was the Morris show. First period, Bobcats go up by 3 nice and early. Rose Caverly gets the ball and swings it to Morris in the paint. She grabs the ball from the defender. That's 2 for Morris. Now we got just 4 minutes later. So Jada Bonner attempts the 3, misses it, and Morris is there for the putback. That's 4 for Morris. Score 18-8 going into the second. And in the second, Morris with 6 now, under 4 minutes to go. Jackie Grisdale passes it to Morris in the paint. She hits it a 1-2 step on the defender for the layup. 32-11, and that's 8 for Morris. Bonner finds Morris again in the paint. She hits the layup. Morris now with 10 going into the second half. Now in the third, scores 35-21. Mackenzie DeWeese on the drive, gets trapped. She finds Michaela Morris once again. That's 12 points for Morris. 6 minutes to go in the third. Caverly down in transition. Finds Morris in the free throw line. She turns around. She makes the jump shot. Morris with 14 and the Bobcats still lead. And here we go again. Nice pull up from Morris. That's 18 for Morris now. And then the next possession in the fourth quarter. Here we go. Caverly goes for the steal. Goes down to the other end and hits Morris on the free throw, and she pulls up for the jumper. Morris would score 4 more to end the game with another triple-double. That's 24 points for Morris and 10 rebounds. Bobcats, they're going to take this game 76-55.
The newest weekly MAC Awards came out today. Quinnipiac swept the women's awards this week. AJ Furwanar and myself broke the news on our QBSN call earlier today. Michaela Morris was awarded the Player of the Week and after recorded 3 straight triple-doubles, including today's win over Canisius, which we just saw. This is Morris' first time winning the award. Jackie Grisdale also continued her success, where she was awarded Rookie of the Month. Grisdale put up 17 points against Monmouth in the loss. With Grisdale proving herself more and more, it was only a matter of time before the conference recognized her success.
Let's see how it stands in the MAC now after today's big win. With the season almost over, the table is slowly starting to take shape. After Quinnipiac's 1-1 record for the weekend, they find themselves second in the MAC right now, behind Fairfield with the Stags currently on a 5-game win streak. Marist and Canisius find themselves at the bottom of the table with both on a 4-game and 3-game losing streak, respectively.
A Friday night in New Jersey gave us an interesting game, both during and after the game. Let's see how it went. The Bobcats would lose 74-83 against St. Peter's. Bobcats losing the field goal percentage margin 37.3 to 51.9. They tied the same. They had the same free throw percentage, and the amount of turnovers were just picking up after game, and the assists weren't the great as well.
The Bobcats finished out this weekend's action as they took on Monmouth on Sunday. Let's see if they have what it takes to break their 2-game losing streak. Now it's Quinnipiac, it's Monmouth. We're going right to the first half. We're starting with a nice little 3 right here from Walker Miller. 9-8 Monmouth. Continuing in the first half, Monmouth extend it with a nice layup. They're up 19-9 as Tyrese Williams tries to cut into the lead, 21-18 Monmouth. And then the Pappas 3 in the corner, bang, he gets that, 25-18. And then here comes another corner 3 for Monmouth. They make that, they go up 39-24. Staying in the first half, it's a buzzer beater. Does it go in? It does, but it's after the buzzer, does not count, so we're going to the second half. Starting with QU, right back at it. Jacob Bergoni knocks down the 3. Monmouth up 43-38. Quinnipiac trying to mount something, but it goes Monmouth's way. We see a Miller bumps into Marfa, turn, pivot, bang. He gets that. It's 51-39. And then Pappas goes on and hit another 3. Quinnipiac trying to do something. Taimu Chinnery cuts in, gets the layup. And just like that, the nail in the coffin. Another corner 3 Quinnipiac concede. They go up 61-55. Some nice passing right there as well. But you can't end the highlight without a Brendan Martin shot. Brendan Martin getting his first career field goal, and it ends 76-63.
After the 2 losses to St. Peter's and Monmouth, let's take a look at an updated men's basketball standings. Islanders having continued success at the top of the MAC, only losing one game to the now third-ranked Siena Saints, who have surged to the third spot since last week. You see Quinnipiac in the middle of the pack, tied for fifth with Niagara at the conference record of 6-7 each. The third and sixth seed is starting to tighten up as the season is starting to wind down, as the postseason is just 1 month away from tomorrow. This is going to make things interesting as most teams have about 6 to 8 games remaining.
Still to come on Sports Paws, acrobatics and tumbling were back on the mats after an almost 2-year break. Plus, track and field were competing at New England's over the weekend. How did they do? Plus, we also have the MAC Preseason Awards for the lacrosse team coming out. Who made the list on the other side of this break?
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
What do you think you're doing, Kevin?
Was just gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices?
Like your text-to-emoji ratio?
Oh man, the selfies. Selfie, nailed it.
We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Craig, come on man, let's split a ride home.
And we're back. Thank you for sticking with us. Now, before we get into what's on the prompter right in front of me, Connor, I'm gonna do something a little crazy
What
here.
is
A
it,
little
Ben?
crazy.
No way.
It's off. And let's get right back into it. Acrobatics and tumbling is officially back. I talked with head coach Marianne Powers about what it means to be back and her team's nerves while competing for the first time in almost 2 years. For over 700 days, the Lender Court has been home to just the Quinnipiac basketball teams. However, today it welcomed back the acrobatics and tumbling team. Coming into today's matchup, it was going to be a tough battle both physically and mentally for the Bobcats, and it was all about how they reacted come game time.
I mean, everybody just was pulling a ship. You know, there's so many things that COVID and getting wrapped up in the anxiety of it, the fear of it, the loss of celebrations. You know, I just think our youth in general, put it to sports, put it to anything. There's been losses to rites of passages. It could be proms, it could be graduations. There's been so much. So for them, what I wanted them to do today was just to feel grateful, just to feel like you can't expect you're going to be at your peak. Let's go out there. I put them in the huddle because they were going downhill a little bit after some of the toss scores came in, and tosses are usually a big thing for us. So I had to bring them in, and I have to say, don't give this away. We've got 6 tumbling heats and a team routine. We're talking about a good 170 points still to capture. I want you to walk out of here with your heads up. I want you to make them love you. I want to make those fan base be back here to see you. That's really what's important, is that you're here.
Not only were the fans in the stands in the People's United Center to cheer on their team, but so were other athletes from all different types of teams at Quinnipiac, showing their support for a team who hasn't competed in over 700 days, a team that shows up to every single one of their events over the past 2 seasons, and just giving support, showing what it really means to be a Bobcat.
They want to have that respect and that presence, that they have some work to do and they have to earn that. So my kids are always at every single game. They understand that we're all Bobcats. We're all Bobcats. We're in this together.
The Bobcats now have over a month to once again fill these seats back up and bring the energy back onto the Lender Court as they take on Baylor in their next home matchup on March 19th. From Q30 Sports, I'm Ben Kane. Spring is right around the corner, and that can only mean one thing. It's time for some lacrosse. The preseason All-MAC awards have just come out, so let's see who made the list. Senior Dimitri George is alongside Jake Tellers on the list for the men's team. George finished as the MAC Face-Off Specialist of the Year for the Bobcats. Meanwhile, sophomore Sophia Estiano and Julia Stenik are on the list for the women's team. The second years had a stellar season where they were both placed on the MAC All-Second team.
Now that the individual awards have been given out, let's take a look at the MAC coaches preseason poll. At the top of the preseason polls, it's Monmouth getting the favorite to take the MAC championship in back-to-back years, defeating Manhattan 14-9 in 2021 to reign supreme in the conference. Despite Quinnipiac being predicted to finish fourth, they received a singular first-place vote and 31 total points. Marist and Manhattan closed out to the top 4 and 2 and 3 respectively.
Now, Connor, it's a Monday night, so you know what that means. It's Sports Paws. It's the top 5. I'm going to take the odds. I'll give you the evens.
All right, sounds
Let's
good.
run it. Top 5. We're starting at number 5. We're going to the acro tumble. Graduate student Cassidy Osher does some crazy flips in the air. Let's just watch this. That's beautiful. We're going to run it back one more time. Nice and slow-mo. I can't do that. That's crazy to me, honestly. And they were able to beat East Stroudsburg, but lost to Gannon.
Play 4 is going to be in the women's ice hockey versus Clarkson. Bobcats pass the puck to graduate student Taylor House, and she will get the finish. We saw this a little bit earlier. Bobcats take a 1-0 lead, and we'll see another play in just a few minutes, Ben.
You know what? We're gonna see it right now. We're going to the basketball courts. Quinnipiac versus Monmouth. Monmouth shoot the ball around. It misses. And here comes J.J. Riggins. He passes it to Tyrese. He makes the shot. Crazy. But it doesn't count. So we move.
Unfortunate. Well, play number 2 is actually back in the Frank Perotti Jr. Arena with men's ice hockey. Union has a chance to score a huge goal, but Yanni Pretz makes the ridiculous save, and the Bobcats are going to defeat Union 2-1.
And we're going to our beat. Women's ice hockey versus Clarkson. Puck goes to senior Courtney Forster in overtime. Through the 5-hole, it's in. Quinnipiac win the game 2-1 thanks to that goal.
Ben, that kind of sounded a lot like a soccer call, but we're going to look at the weekend preview first. Winter sports and starting final stretches. Students are back from breaks. Let's check it out. Men's basketball is going to at Fairfield Wednesday at 7 p.m. Women's basketball is going to be home against Iona for their senior day at 2 o'clock on Saturday. Men's ice hockey is going to be facing off against Clarkson. That's going to be a big matchup on Saturday night. And women's ice hockey is going to Harvard Saturday at 3 p.m.
Now, the results of Sports Paw's newest segment, Bobcat Buzz, are in. The poll handed out this winter's MVP, so let's see who won. To almost no one's surprise, this winter's MVP, as voted by you, the fans, is Yanni Ferretz. The first year has been a stalwart for Quinnipiac, racking up goalkeeper of the week, the month, and even setting Quinnipiac's shutout record all in the span of about a few weeks. Special shout out to the other athletes nominated, Olivia Mobley, Kevin Marfo, and Mackenzie Deweese, who have all had fantastic seasons this far.
That is it for this episode of Sports Paws. Thank you for watching. Make sure to follow us on social media at Q30 Sports to stay up to date on all things Quinnipiac sports and tune into all of our content. Visit us at Q30TV.com. For Ben Kane, I'm Connor Core. Thank you for watching. Good night.